Welcome back, disc golf fans, to the Discraft Great Lakes Open presented by Grip 6. Our first playoff event of the year, the Disc Golf Pro Tour. I'm Nathan Queen, again joined by Andrew Fish.
Yeah, this is continuing a very busy month where we have 3 Disc Golf Pro Tour Elite Series events and then the World Championships coming up in only a couple weeks. A lot of these players using the Great Lakes Open as one of their main tune-ups. James Proctor and Eagle McMahon out to 4 down starts. Kyle Klein, Anthony Barela not far behind, and getting the job done on the front 9 in my opinion.
Yeah, gotta get the birdies on the front 9 as the back 9 is very difficult to score on. As you'll see all but one hole, I believe, average over par.
That's wild. You see the leader of the tournament out to just 6 down at this point.
Yeah, and into hole 10, 650-foot par 4, playing closer in the 800-foot range yet again. Got to get up to that first big tree on the right to really have an opportunity to go down the right side of this fairway and get a nice skip up to the basket. But you've got a low ceiling along the way as the floor continues to get higher.
Another hole that was new last year, had a chance to beat in a little bit. Proctor trying to play a hyzer flip down the left side. Could have used a touch more drift, but is still going to land in the fairway with a chance to get up and down for a birdie.
Yeah, even with that tree, he's still got almost to the flat that you need to get to.
Low ceiling and high floor as everything continues to climb here. Eagle does get the drift, but not the height. Going to be back in a similar position. And I think for somebody with Barela's bonus power... Okay. I was going to say he would just like try to blast it up the hill,
Is
not
this a roller?
Go over everything.
He's in a good spot.
Yeah, just crashes into the tree that we'd all like to land by. Klein, good flat shot. Once this catches up with some stability,
Oh, yeah.
he's going to push up to the same position. Looks up the right side tunnel.
And still pretty far back from James. If he can get up to the dirt and catch a skip, this is 2 left, though.
And his arm swing suggested some abbreviated footing there. Still in good position to take a par, and I think par is plenty acceptable on 10.
Definitely so.
Eagle to the roller. Something very flippy, but even that not going to get quite over.
Yeah, and you see he even still having to deal with that footing, had to plant early. Anthony Barela able to get a little bit of anti-skip. Still going to be outside circle 1, but looking at putting for a birdie on the very difficult 10th.
And Klein with the low-hanging branch in his view tries to go roller and joins Eagle on the left side. I think if you have to attack with a roller for your second, you're just trying to cover some ground, not really a specific point. Proctor's third, just inside the circle, chance to save the par.
Eagle just kind of pitching up and around, should be in a good spot for his par. Kyle going to try to follow that same, well, it's got a lot of angle on that. Yeah. Kind of pitching up and down. He'll be able to tap in his par as well. We've got the birdie chance.
Oh, nothing's really dropping for Barela right now. He got a couple birdies in a row. Proctor is able to cover the slightly errant second and third with a par. And everybody up here in decent position to join a substantial portion of the field.
Yeah, nobody in too much trouble on this one. Like you said, 71% of the field able to card the par. Difficult birdie, though, just 11 players.
Yeah, I think the landing zone is pretty small, and even that doesn't guarantee that you're going to have a great look up the hill for a difficult second shot. Take a walk over, and we're going to throw again. It's downhill, uphill at the toboggan course. This is the downhill variety, 512 feet as a par 3. Hit this gap or throw over top of it and drift to the right. Today we're going to play to the longer of these two basket positions.
Such a difficult shot to attack here. I think backhand fairway driver is going to be the best way. Push it out straight and let it drift right. You want it to flatten, but you don't really want it to fade. That's what takes distance driver out of play. Distance driver is most of the time going to fade and end up carrying away. Very specific angle. Forehand does not play well.
Yeah, I think anything that's going to fade to the right just dumps you into the shoal. Eagle going slower, and he too will dump into the shoal. That's pretty much pitch up territory, as the basket is on the suggestion of a mound.
And without a spotter, would be very difficult to find.
Yeah, sincere thank you to the spotters who were out here. They had to pull double duty. And all of these shots come out of the hand looking pretty decent.
You got to do more than look decent on this hole to get a birdie.
Yes. At 512 feet, it's doable, but has to be such a specific wind read. As Klein gonna drag off to the left.
Looks like he's gonna get caught up.
And Proctor still with a par 3 to go as he's going big spike hyzer.
Yeah, pushed it too long. He's going to end up well behind the basket. Long circle 2 look coming back for par. Kyle going to have to try to flatten this out and control his distance, and he's done that well.
Yeah, good little touchy spin, Annie. Eagle. Just a putt approach to about 13, 14 feet. And Barela might have a notion on this. He is known for long putts. Today, still going to come up low this time.
And actually having to come back for par from way out. James Proctor, a little bit off on the timing on that one. Going to be tapping in a bogey, which decent amount of players did on this one. 19% of the field bogey or above. And just 12%, 9 players able to get the birdie.
That sounds about the distribution I'd expect. And take a look. Got some raindrops starting to creep in. We noted in our front 9 coverage that there had already been about 2 hours of delays pushing this tee time back. I'm sure everybody avidly checking their weather apps and any tournament notifications. Klein and McMahon going to knock in their pars, and Anthony Barela to do the same.
Yeah, Kyle on a bit of a par stretch. But like we were talking about, that's kind of what you need to do on the back. Par everything that you can and maybe get you a birdie or two. Moving into hole 12. One of those birdies or two that you'd like to get. 344 feet, playing closer to the 420-foot range, I would say. As we're going, 60 feet back up this hill again. Stand-up driver shot, or you can do a forehand flex shot. Most players probably don't have the forehand power to get up here.
Eagle.
What a shot.
With that backhand stand up to well inside the circle. I think it's pretty common that the backhand kind of fades out to the left, and if you get up to the basket, you're left of it, as this seems likely to do.
Yeah, pretty good to stay out of the woods on the left with a hyzer pretty much that whole flight. Just shows how much speed he's able to put on his disc.
Yeah, for sure. Like that is the luxury of having power here, that you can just throw simpler angles. Klein, I like the height. However, this is going to fade off to the left and a little bit short. Pretty common result there. And
James ready to go in the rain, trying to get out there for. Once you get a grip on it, you kind of have to go fast once it starts to rain. Don't want to lose that grip.
And
it looks like we may have taken a break there.
Yeah, the lighting changed pretty substantially. I believe this was the time that there was about a 30-minute delay. Everybody told to hustle back out there and hustle through the rest of the course if they can fit in the rest of this round before dark ensues.
Yeah, so Kyle Klein coming back and starting off with a great putt. Anthony Barela as well. Both going to card the birdie here on the 12th, which you apparently have to do for the back nine. 16 players, so 22% of the field able to get this birdie. It was the fourth easiest hole on the course, averaging it at 2.85.
Yeah, no real OB and pretty scrambleable once you've made it through the first gap. And 3 birdies. Wow.
At Discraft, we don't wait to see what the future holds. We build it. The future is in your hands.
Hole 13, down that same hill, 526 feet, a par 3. Either backhand turnover or a forehand that pushes around the guardian tree on the right and then through this gap, down a hill, and through another series of gaps. I think anything that gets you a look at this, even from Circle 2, should be counted as a success. Eagle, the slow, very flippy forehand driver.
Yeah, it's a great shot, like you were saying. Kind of right there, Circle 2's edge. Well executed.
Yeah, it looked like he may have tapped the tree in the center of the second gap. Barela with a flatter release. If this tests the back wall but doesn't get into it, it'll be decent.
It looks like he may have just caught those rocks or something right on the edge of that rough on the left side. Kyle Klein also going with that forehand. Similar line. Yeah, just a few feet closer than the Eagles. They're going to have a long look at it.
And Proctor a little lower and catching up to the stability a little faster. He'll have a backhand turnover from there, or perhaps the forehand flex shot.
Yeah, there's a couple little skinny lines over here on the right side. And he is just going to sneak through that one.
Yeah. Good little scramble. If you can walk away with a low stress par on 13, you're usually doing pretty good. But we're actually going to have 3 bonus birdie attempts.
Yeah, that one coming up just a bit low. This is one you can give a pretty good run at. Kyle Klein trying to get that bonus birdie. Comes up just a bit short, so we go from 3 birdies on hole 12 on our card alone to hole 13 that just had 2 birdies on the day for the entire field. Jake Wolf, Jeremy Colin.
Gotta imagine they're both throwing forehands at it.
And they were both not in circle 1, as nobody was in circle 1 today off of the tee. Moves us into hole 14, 800 feet. Let's go ahead and say 1,000 is what it feels like. It places about 500 feet to the bottom of this hill. We're about where the FPO pin is at. Then you've got that 65-foot climb up the hill just off to the left, and they've cleared out a bunch, so possible to go long here on this approach now.
And new for 2023, both the left and right sides of this fairway lined as out of bounds. So that could dampen the enthusiasm for big shots off of the tee. Eagle. Controlled power here, it looks like.
Yeah, I was going to say, doesn't really have to worry about that. He can dampen his power and go just as far, if not farther, than players still trying to rip it their hardest.
And being on the left side of this fairway, I think sets you up to throw a more manageable hyzer into the green. AB, going to test the right side, but still plenty of stability on the end.
Yeah, and pretty good distance as well.
Kyle Klein, almost identical to my eye with Barela. Maybe a touch more hyzer flip on the shape of it.
Yeah, ends up in about an identical spot. And I gotta say, I'm a bit jealous of how calm these banners are out here. I didn't see much of this going on.
Proctor, this is hung out a touch, but he gave it enough height to fight back in.
Yeah, really testing that OB, and I think we've got 3 drives within about 10 feet of each other up there.
Yep, you said it. And Klein, flat shot up the hill. This takes so much pop. Even at his power level, he's going to land in circle 2.
I am a bit salty. It looks like such a nice day outside right there.
AB, plenty of height, but more hyzer. And he's going to track over to the left side of the basket.
That used to be impenetrable.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to see him in there. Now he's got a clean putt. Proctor, the hyzer flip. And that too, going to come up a touch short, but inside the circle.
Yeah, all these guys, plenty of power, just not quite playing the angle on this hill right to get their shot up there. And like you were saying, the left side kind of opens up that hyzer more. And Eagle able to skip through those fence posts. He's going to be up there closest with the look for birdie.
And I really think that with the OB left and right here, that was a pretty good change, so that you have to throw 2 quality shots here instead of kind of ripping your first one and then being able to place your second a little better. AB chains out left side. And we'll get to inside the circle for both Proctor and Eagle.
And dead center on it. James Proctor going to pick up his first birdie in a while. Move him back to 4 under and inside that top 10.
And Eagle, a good pickup. Don't look now. He is T2 through 14 holes. But the stretch doesn't get any less punishing as we continue through the back 9.
No, 15 may be one of the hardest par 4s we see.
And that without the benefit of out of bounds, too. 960 feet. We're going to tee off from elevation. And then the fairway bends to the left. You have to get very far left to set up the second shot, which is still well over 400 feet, kind of down a valley, and then back up. The real critical part of the second shot is giving yourself something to look at. Anything off the fairway is some of the thickest shul on this course, or perhaps even on tour, Nathan.
I believe everywhere on this course this year is thicker than I've ever seen it. I imagine it's thicker than most players have seen it out here. I've been coming since 2019. And it's thick.
Yeah, absolutely. They take advantage of the growing season up here. Eagle gets his drive left enough to a pretty good spot, about 425 to 450 away. Proctor going to about follow that line.
Oh, yeah. Great drive. Should have kind of a backhand flex shot or maybe a straight shot from there.
Yeah, I think Anheuser release to a little bit of late fade, and he did well to get back up onto the flat. Barela with a much higher line. I think he's going to try to push the back wall and then to get the fade.
Goes out nicely. He's out in the open grass. I think a little shorter than we saw James get.
Yeah, similar trajectory. Kyle Klein pushes his shot to flat.
Nice, Kyle.
And it hooks up. Everybody in great position here, Nathan.
Yeah, Kyle moving a bit more left. I think he might have the best angle of the group, getting that nice slide.
A reference point you can kind of use is an old tee pad that has some gravel left. That's about 400 away and straight at the basket. So here is Eagle. I want to say Cloud Breaker. Heiser release, up to flat, a little bit of drag.
And could have used just a little bit more drag, but he is going to find some open space over there. Inside circle 2, in between some rough short and some rough pin height. Open look for birdie. Anthony Barela's got this one a bit too turned over. And does not fight through, gonna fall down into that rough.
That front right corner of this green, pretty thick with a big mature tree as well as all the Russian olives. Klein tracking to that direction as well. And that one is able to fight back out to the bottom of the hill.
Yeah, I thought Kyle had pushed past that last tree we see on the left right now where he wasn't going to have to deal with it. But he had a kind of a funny angle. As well as James here, who just kind of misreleased that one.
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of shot he was going for there, whether it was steep hyzer flip or just a total angle miss. So from the woods.
To the woods again.
Wow.
Man, what started off so well turned pretty quickly here on hole 15 for Proctor. I believe that was AB in there having a nice out.
And Proctor can't even see the basket from that position. Gonna have to take a 5. And Nathan, that's kind of what hole 15 does to you. You cannot take a shot off. All of them have to be quality.
And a good bid and an even better settle after it hit the ground there for Kyle Klein. Eagle McMahon, though, doesn't want any settling. He's going to get one of just 3 birdies here on hole 15 today. Put himself 7 under par. Simon Lizotte and Cole Radallen, the only other 2 able to card the birdie.
Yeah, gaining strokes on folks as this taking a par sometimes feels heroic on 15.
Yeah, no OB, 33% bogey or above.
I just think the plastic is very premium. It's a high quality material. The way the disc feels in my hand.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
The quality is better than any other company out there.
Again, just consistent plastic. It's something I can consistently trust on every single throw.
There's so many discs to choose from, and I guarantee if you tried every disc in the lineup, you're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
It's extremely high quality. You can only say so much that they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
Hole 16, 396-foot par 3 with a pretty tight gap to hit through the cedars here. Oh, and just in case it wasn't hard enough, we've got an island hole this year. So you've got to hit that gap and carry a little bit to be in bounds. If not, you will head to a drop zone. If you do cross in bounds, you are able to take it at your last point in.
McMahon, pretty hyzered and low, but just enough speed to scooch onto the green.
Wow.
Barela back to the putter. And we noted the flags are pretty calm on some other holes. I think that's very critical here as well, as it enables the straight discs to be thrown rather than having to manipulate a couple angles. Barela into circle 2.
And hole 8 and hole 16 the last couple weeks are bringing some interesting stats. Idlewild did it for us as well with those 2 holes, as Kyle Klein able to tap the OB line there and stay in bounds. So at Idlewild last week, hole 8 and hole 16 both had 13 birdies a couple days. Today, I said hole 8 had 24 players birdie, 24 players par, and 25 players bogey or above. Hole 16 has brought us the exact same stats there.
Spooky. Proctor does try to run his putt from the drop zone. Going to have to settle for the 4 as it hits metal, but not all the way in. AB, the great stick from circle 2.
Cashes it dead center. That was confident, too.
And we should note here, he is looking straight downhill with OB about 12 feet behind the basket.
Yeah, absolutely OB if that doesn't touch anything, but able to cash it in. He's 3 under par now. Inside the top 15.
Yeah. Klein takes his meter and elevator down into the bucket. Continuing a very, very solid round for himself.
Oh, yeah, top 5.
Proctor cards the bogey, and Eagle, we saw him lay up, knows he's got a good round going, doesn't have to chase strokes. Especially when you've got hole 17 coming up. 840 feet, a par 4. The intended route, I think, is what the drone is flying. There is OB to the left side. You'd like to land anywhere in the short grass and then be able to throw a power shot, probably a little flex on it, up this hill to a basket that's perched on a spine. It's possible we may see some players try the forehand just to put it in play, or the big backhand hyzer out over the road, which is also out of bounds.
AB gonna go huge here. Try to carry that OB the entire way, but gets a little bit turned over on it. And Anthony Barela's turned over shots go farther than a lot of people's full flight shots do.
Yeah, big mistake to 525 feet or so. Klein does appear to be lining up that big hyzer. And plenty stable, plenty of height. It does, I think, make your landing zone a little bit narrower, but well in play, able to attack on the second shot now.
Yeah, well executed. Again, the lower wind makes that shot quite a bit easier than earlier on in the day when it was picking those discs up and carrying them back across to the left pretty quickly.
Eagle, no stranger to adventure on this hole. He's actually, I don't know if he was ever over the out of bounds. And he is going to push to a pretty honey spot. Looks like good flat footing, too. We are in the thick of the toboggan runs. So side hill almost more common than flat here.
Very difficult to find that flat footing. It's hard to plan for it off of this tee. You just kind of throw for inbounds and see what happens from there.
Yeah, I think one big mistake when you're game planning for D-Glow is trying to be too cute about where you're going to land. A lot of times you just have to play each shot as it comes. Klein going to try to play the hyzer, and this will fight back up the hill as it does into circle 2 probably. He may have an obstructed look, but a look nonetheless.
Got enough carry that it's not going to be too much of an issue that he did find a little bit of tall stuff. Anthony Barela in a pretty tough spot here. I imagine just trying to get to a decent spot to.
I think you need to expand your imagination.
Man. I guess so.
Into circle 2, even with the rotten stance. Proctor trying to play the turnover shot, and it just seems like Proctor's not too focused. He's missed a couple angles that didn't need to be missed.
Gets a nice last kick down, though. Stayed a little bit out of the trees there. Eagle also not quite getting his turned over enough. Did fight a little bit better.
So just pitching the forehand up the hill is James Proctor. think that's AB, a successful scramble.
Yeah, another hole, low amount of birdies, just 9 players. Eagle might have a chance here.
But once again, going to be a little conservative. Knows he's 7 down. And Klein with a pretty favorable look here. Able to be one of those 9 birdies. Also with a great round.
Yeah, back-to-back on 16-17, making a late push. 6 under par and a big tie for third.
And a couple good par cleanups coming. Overall, the card playing under par on 17, perfectly acceptable. Not a hole to be chasing strokes on going into hole 18.
Yeah, third hardest hole on the course. Moving into the hardest hole on the course today. Brand new pin position, 660-foot par 3. This is about the old pin position. That's not far enough. If you want to get birdie, you got to get a little bit farther. So you have an opportunity to get around this corner on this very tucked basket off to the right that is surrounded by OB the entire fairway, right side, left side, long side, short side.
And Kyle Klein tries to throw the backhand up the hill. Unfortunately, going to see the red flag as that takes a pretty nasty cut roll. Forehand a little safer, although potentially this is in danger of skying to the right also.
Yeah, ends up down in the middle, though. Little on the short side, probably pitching around for par from there.
Yep, likely to see 2 more forehands and hope to walk off with a par. Eagle to the backhand driver. A little more height than Kyle Klein's, and that puts him in a reasonable spot to attack the green if he desires to.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to take an inside gap, though, if he decides to go forehand, which is pretty close to that OB. I guess you could go backhand turnover, but OB left side, very tight.
And Proctor's backhand tracks immediately to the left. Didn't ever turn it over enough. Klein with the layup. That's going to put him about 180 into the green.
Well executed. Proctor going to be looking to find a similar position here. Oh, and he has just barely snuck back inbounds.
Yeah, there's a good break. Let's see if he can get up and down. Just hold this to a single bogey. And AB also to the forehand. Just a series of pinch points on this hole makes it very difficult to attack without really considering how much danger you're addressing.
And Eagle, he is a little bit farther than I expected. And is going to go with the forehand outside of this tree. Just a little finger pop. And he gets a very nice skip with a speedy disc into circle 1.
Yeah, that's... you can't say it enough. He has so much power that he's able to throw that disc with a ton of control. AB in position to par. That would keep him in a great spot as, for the most part, people are giving strokes away on hole 18.
Yeah, lots of bogey strokes here, averaging a 4.56 today, full half stroke above par.
Nate Heinold told me this was one of the holes he was most interested to see how scores would shake out. Eagle McMahon cashes the birdie, gets himself to a tie for first place.
Yeah, one of just 9 birdies on the day. 44% of the field bogey or above. 20 players took a bogey. 8 players took a double bogey. 4 players took a triple bogey or worse.
Proctor is able to limit the damage and keeps his round score under par.
Yeah, tough finish. 3 of the last 4 with a bogey. Had some good things going, and just tailing off there at the end. Anthony Barela had some putting struggles, but still able to card a 3 under today.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Everybody's staying under. Everybody still in this. It's a 4-round tournament, and lots of stroke swings as we've seen. There it is. Eagle McMahon out to the lead of the tournament, tied at 8 down, and Kyle Klein hanging on in that tie for third.
Yeah, 2 clean back 9s there. Pretty impressive, as Kevin Jones tied with Eagle McMahon. And then all the way down to 12 is tied for third.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us for round 1 of the 2023 Discraft Great Lakes Open. Looking forward to 3 more rounds out here at the Kensington Toboggan course.
Yeah, beautiful property and beautiful weather coming up. Looking forward to it. Thank you guys for joining us here on Gatekeeper Media. For Andrew Fish, I'm Nathan Queen. We'll see you guys out there.